This episode of D-Suite Nation is sponsored by Hoffman's Deco Deli. Now at their brand new location at 444 Saginaw Street in the heart of downtown Flint, Heath Hoffman and his staff has provided the Flint community with deliciously fresh food for the past 11 years. Whether you're stopping in for lunch, looking for catering for your corporate event or meeting, or simply stopping in for a hot cup of coffee, Hoffman's has something on the menu for you. Hoffman's Deco Deli, guaranteed to make your day a little fresher.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the D-Suite Nation. I hope everybody is enjoying the Michigan and Michigan State game. I know that I am. Go Blue. I have a special guest today. All of my guests are special, but this is somebody that I talked about last week on my live broadcast. One of the questions that was asked to me about was who were my mentors and who were the most inspirational growing up. Now, everybody knows that my father was my greatest inspiration, but I decided to be a little more creative on how I answered that. So today, I have Hezekiah Ross as my guest today. People in Flint and all over the country know him as Rip Ros. He's a legendary trainer. He's probably the baddest boxer that you know. We'll get into that in a second. Rip, I just want to say, man, I'm very happy to have you on the show today. Words can't describe what it means that you said that you would be here today. I really appreciate it. Now, my first question to you is, I want to know, how is your health these days? How are you feeling? Do you still exercise? What's a regular week for you these days?
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. You know, I just had a triple bypass.
No, I didn't know that.
June 24th, I think it was.
Yeah, I would have visited you in the hospital had I known. I didn't know that.
They didn't have no security to have you up there. You know, Dr. StingRay. Yeah, they didn't have enough security.
I would have busted my way through there.
I couldn't have got through it, but we'll be all right.
Okay, all right.
But anyways, like, I contribute a lot of it to working out when I was younger, because like the doctors and they had told me if I hadn't been in good shape when I had that heart attack like I had, a weak body couldn't have brought me back.
You had a heart attack?
Yeah, had a triple bypass.
Oh.
June 24th. Yep, and like working out, I was investing in my years now. See, this is a lot of people don't believe that, but like I'm 77, I'm still doing it. I train 5 days a week.
You train yourself 5 days a week?
I train with who I train.
Okay.
5 days a week.
Okay. Do you still train other people, or are you kind of retired from that?
Nah, I never retired from that. You know, I want to get you again. You know,
I'll be in there. I've packed on a couple as I've gotten older, but I don't want to pat myself on the back here. I do have muscle memory, so if I get back together with you, it only takes 4 weeks with you, and that's it.
Yeah, but we're gonna do it like we did once before. You know, once before we was gonna train, and I train you and you box. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll train again and you bodybuild.
Ooh.
Well,
okay.
Come on, you put it out there.
Okay. I mean, I would never question anything because everything that you've ever taught me, it's worked. So if you say that's how we're going to do it, then God damn it, that's how we're going to do it. You know, because I know it's going to work.
Yeah, it'll work. But boy, I tell you, I know you're a hard worker. See, that's how come I used to tell you about that when we worked out. You know, I know you're a hard worker. That's how come I would push you just to see, because you had a temper. You know, and I didn't care nothing about that temper. You know, what I'm gonna do, I was
really young. I was really young though.
Yeah, it's just crazy too.
I was an entitled athlete from the city. You know, and then, like I stated last week, you know, we were pretty protected by our peers at the school. So I kind of thought that I was bulletproof back then. Not literally bulletproof, but we thought we were above everything. So my mouth kind of. Yeah.
You walked in the gym with your chest stuck out. I said, "Now, who do you think you fooling?"
You're talking about Lear's Gym, where I met you in the early 90s.
Yeah.
The old Lear's Gym.
The old Lear's Gym on Pollard and Richfield.
Davison Road. Davison Road, right next to what used to be the NBD Bank at the time, which is now Chase. Oh yeah, right there, the Doghouse Lounge, the Doghouse Lounge Plaza. Yeah.
You act like the EGB and all that. You used to go to the Doghouse.
Oh, I know. Well, I'll tell you, man. We'll get into a little bit of that later on, but a couple of things I want to know. Tell us where you're from originally. And tell us a little bit how your life was in your preteen into your teenage years. How that was. How Hezekiah was, or Zeke as your family calls you. How did Zeke grow up, and where are you originally from?
Okay, well, I was born in a place called Greenville, Mississippi, 1942. And I left Greenville and migrated up to St. Louis, Missouri when I started boxing. That's why I started boxing. It was St. Louis, Missouri. Scott Air Force Base, the Kiel Auditorium. I fought at those places, And I fought there for a while, and that wasn't enough for me. I had to move on, And I had a couple uncles up here in Michigan, so one kept saying, well, come on up there. I used to mock him, like, come on up there. Why? So after hearing it so long, I said, well, I'm going to go up there and see what it's like. I can always come back home. So I came on up here, and they had a pretty good boxing program and stuff, and I wanted to play a little football and stuff. And I got gypped on that, schools against each other, districts. So I didn't know I had a way out. I wanted to box anyhow. Football was just something I just did because I like to hit, And I went down to Burston, and they had some guys in there boxing. But see, the first thing that got me was the first time I ever put on a pair of boxing gloves.
How old were you when you put on that first pair of boxing gloves?
I was 9 years old. But let me tell you something, I learned a lesson. The guy that I was going to box, I said, what I'm going to do when they ring the bell, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to beat. See, I didn't know nothing about being tired because I thought running and playing all the time. This is my first time ever experienced what it's like to be tired. Mm-hmm. And I gets out there, man, and I'm wailing. That was the first 1 minute round. So then you come back, I couldn't hardly breathe. We had to do this 3 times. I couldn't hardly breathe then. So I went on back, and next time I learned what it was to tie up and push and see if he moved or not. See, I learned then that if he moved, he's tired like me. So I rested that round. And then the third round, I come out and start wailing again because his coach had told me he was behind. Man, I was too tired. I couldn't even breathe. And I said to myself then that if I ever did any kind of sports, anything, I will train to the max. And that's what I did, So that's where that pushing you guys come from,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Now, who trained you back in those early years? Who was your premier trainer, boxing trainer?
Well, it was a guy used to train this one guy named Virgil Akins, and
now was this in Greenville, Mississippi, or was this in St. Louis?
This was in St. Louis, and one of the mail carriers, Mike Muffet. That's my other trainer.
Okay.
And that's the only 2 trainers I had, I mostly trained myself from looking at other fighters, seeing what I would and what I wouldn't do, but not being there to do that. That's just like you going and saying, you going to coach a basketball game, you know how to play the game. Here you sitting down there judging. How in the hell you going to judge a game and you ain't never played?
I know a few of those. Guys. Yeah. Oh, that's another show. We'll talk about that on another show. I'm not, I don't like to call people out by their names. I know a lot of people like that.
Okay, they do too.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Come on.
When you were an amateur boxer, you had like if my memory serves me correct, you had like a 94% knockout ratio, okay? And did you train a certain way, or were you just like born with like a natural hard knockout punch? Where'd all this power come from? Because articles that I used to read about you, when you showed me these articles 30 years ago, you knocked everybody out within 4 rounds or less. So where did all that power come from?
the first time I put on a pair of boxing gloves, remember me telling you this? And I got so tired until I couldn't breathe. That's where the power come from. The power come from, I'm gonna get his ass before he gets by. And that's where that comes from. But now, it's like you have to learn how to hit.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. You start your punch from your toe, your big toe, the ball of your feet, your ankle, your knee, your hip, your lat, your shoulder, your arm, your fist. Bam, that's a whip. And you started from down there. That's how come they were saying about Joe Louis. It didn't take much because he didn't need but 12 inches because he was hitting with the whole side of his body. And see, a lot of people that didn't know that. They think you got to draw back and throw that big punch, but you don't have to draw back.
Okay.
So that's where the power comes from. And
Okay.
A lot of the guys, they was trained one way and they underestimated. Because I was a small a small welterweight for my size, and I was a small middleweight for my size. 165 is what they was now. It was 1 pound over. And I only weighed 157 soaking wet.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they would underestimate me. They didn't know, I want you to run your ass up in here. I got something for you.
Okay. Now, were you a big boxing fan? Okay, you said you were born in 1942. Were you a big boxing fan? Maybe Rocky Marciano, Sugar Ray Robinson,
Big boxing.
Joe Louis?
All my life.
So who were some of your favorite pro fighters back then?
Everybody put on a pair of boxing gloves because everybody don't cross through that.
Archie Moore, the old mongoose, probably another guy
All of them.
you were a fan of.
Yeah, all of them. I appreciate all of them for the simple reason.
Ezra Charles fought back then.
Yeah.
Jersey Joe Walcott.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I know all this stuff. I've watched a lot of films. I mean, I think as far as from a historical standpoint, I know more boxing probably than anything.
You know about Jack Johnson?
Well, that was early 1900s.
Well, I'm just gonna let you know. You're gonna say I got to go through all of it that I can know.
So back in those days, Rip, Sugar Ray Robinson, those guys I just mentioned, did you have to listen to them on the radio, or how did you follow them?
Both. When I was smaller, we all we had was radio. We didn't have TV, but later on, things got a little bit better.
Yeah.
We got a TV, and I used to lay down and watch the Friday night fights. Gillette, what I guess was the name that put it on, was the sport thing. And I learned and I watched the footwork, and I watched the punches and the ones that would hold their hands up, the one that would kind of drop your hand. And all the time, I'm fixing my program up for when I fight. If I see a guy that kind of drop his hand a little bit, and I know this is what he's going to do, then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop him because I know right now it's repetitive. He does it all the time, or you act like you're going to throw a punch, and you flick it at his eyes just to see if he'll blink. If he blinked, that's okay. So you don't want to hit him. What you want to do, you want to blink a couple times, then dance that on off. Okay, I know. So when you blink, what you do, you close your eyes, and the hand is quicker than the eye.
Okay.
So when he flicks, I throw a few fake jabs and close his eyes, man. It's over.
Okay. Now, something I remember from back in the day when I met you, you talk about Elms Park Boxing Club all the time.
Yeah.
Tell us about Elms Park Boxing Club.
Well, Elms Park Boxing Club was, as we would say, the ghetto. It was one of those where the kids on that side of town had nothing to do. And one of the old trainers that used to be his brother trained up at Burston, D. Cavett. His brother, Jerry Cavett, lived over off of Lippincott Street, and he used to do a little training, but he didn't have nobody to help him. So I said, well, we don't have a gym. So he said, well, I got an old garage back there, and it's no heat in there, but we can go and get some pallets from up there behind the water plant and burn them in this old fireplace, Good thing we just set the whole neighborhood on fire. Spark was coming out of it like you wouldn't believe, And we had an old makeshift ring that you didn't want to lean up against those because if you did, they'd be coming out there picking you up off the floor,
Now, I have a story for the people here about this same boxing club that he's talking about. This is going to put in perspective on how good of a trainer that he was back then. The fighters that he trained, not only were they like some of the best in their division and, they won all the time, the way that, I don't know if you would call it recruiting, but the way that Rip selected his fighters, he didn't select like these great athletes. He would get what he used to call the throwaways. The guys that he trained were kids that other boxing clubs didn't want because they didn't have the hand-eye coordination, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. Rip coached all of these throwaways and made them something and turned these guys into killing machines. That's what makes him a great trainer. Tell us a little bit about that, the throwaways. That's another term you used a lot back then. You said you coached the throwaways.
Yeah, throwaways. Those are the ones that...
That's remarkable, man.
See, you get people that get it, and then they don't be hungry anymore. And then you get the people that never had it. So once they get it, they're not going to get hungry anymore. So I would get them, and I would tell them, what are you going to do from here? What are you going to do? They go like, I don't know. I said, I know. See, meet me, I'll call a place, and I would run them over where you was.
Yeah. Did you take them to the soapbox derby?
I took them to the soapbox derby, and they had to do two things with the soapbox derby. I tell anybody right now, if you want to challenge yourself, skip up a hill backwards.
Dan, did I talk about the soapbox derby last week?
I don't think so.
Okay, can I explain the soapbox derby?
Explain it.
When I was in like the best shape ever, I'm going to tell you why I was in the best shape of my life. And Derek knows about that. Derek and Ryan know about this too. Rip, early in the morning, this is before I went to school. Before I went to school, I would meet him at Southwestern Academy, where they have a soapbox derby. The soapbox derby, I believe, is still there.
It's still there.
It's still there.
The track's still there, I know that.
Now, what he used to have me do is first I would walk up and down it just to loosen up, get the blood going. I would walk up and down it maybe 4 to 6 times, there and back, there and back, there and back. After the walking was done, he would have me jog up and down, there and back 6 times. Then I would have to sprint there and back 6 times. After the sprinting, I had to run backwards there and back 6 times. After the backwards running, I had to skip. You know how you skip? I had to skip back and forth. I mean, my tongue was hanging out. I actually literally, I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to make it through this whole thing. I had to skip up and down. And then after the frontward skipping, this was the hardest part. If I would have just did this alone, it still would have been hard. Forget about everything that I just mentioned. I had to skip backwards all the way down and all the way back 6 times. And that is, to this day, the hardest thing that I have ever done. I had back surgery where I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to walk again. That was easier than doing what I just mentioned. That was literally the hardest thing that I've ever done. But to my credit, I stuck through it. I was a good follower.
Yeah.
Everything that you told me to do back then, I did it, and I didn't question you. Yeah. I think I may have questioned you one time, maybe like when I first met you. And Rip was an alpha male back then. When I questioned him, he had a way of getting his point across, and I never did that again. But that soapbox derby was, I've told people about that. And I don't think that I describe it good enough because I really don't get a reaction out of them. And it's like they think it's easy or something. And that was the hardest thing that I've ever done.
We can all meet over there this summer.
That's the hardest thing I ever done. Bob Hollick, our defensive coordinator in high school, was a Marine Corps drill instructor, and he used to handle our conditioning. Doing that soapbox stuff was harder than what he was teaching us. But yeah, that was. I won't say. I don't know if I want to use the word fun, but it was memorable. It was 15, 16 years old. I learned a lot about myself. I think it built character. And what I got out of that is no matter how hard, if you just push yourself to the brink where you can't do it no more, you will be able to achieve anything. You just have, the mind controls the body. And I would not let myself quit. I wouldn't allow you to watch me quit. I wouldn't allow that. Now, eventually, you opened up your own gym in the Genesee County area. Rip's Spring Training Gym. Now, that was after I met you at Lear's, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this was probably like the mid-1990s is when you opened your gym. Mm-hmm. Where was your first gym located?
The first gym was located in the Genesee Gymnastics Club. You know, I mean, it wasn't a gym. You know, I was there, and my granddaughter was there. And I know all the moms and stuff, they sitting up in the bleachers, you know, and the kids out there flipping and stuff, you know. And the light bulb went off, you know, like, hold on, you know. You got the moms sitting up there and the kids out there. They're going to be here for an hour and a half anyhow, you know. So I had a little corner over there that the owner let me have. I told the moms, y'all come over here. We do some jumping jacks or something. And I got that going, so I went to this one office supply place and bought some of those big rubber bands, you know, and I would tie them together.
I remember those.
Yeah, and I would tie them together. And I started, and I got a bunch of the moms wanted to work out and work, so then I moved across the street on Richfield Road, and I was there for about 3 years, and then I started training the people that own that little place up there, Justice there. They own that little plaza.
Yep.
And I started training. I was there for over 15 years, you know. And, you know, that's where you learn to be on the extreme team, you know.
Yeah, well, before the extreme team, I was at your gym on Richfield Road across from Haleburger.
Yeah.
That was the first gym of yours that I went to.
Yeah.
And then you moved, and then you were at the one next to Jester's for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time. And on top of Rip, like being very disciplined, the reason why his body looks the way that it looks is because the way that he does things is, if he's training you, if you have to do 100 reps of these, 100 reps of these, and this and this and this for 2 straight hours, he's doing it with you. So he's not bullying you. Everything he's telling you to do, he does it also. But when you stop at 55 or 60, he will finish your reps for you, and then he'll do his. Because he had a thing called we don't leave any reps behind. And he would like embarrass you in front of all the people in there because he would make fun of you. That's one thing about Rip. Rip was never wasn't somebody that screamed and hollered and all that. He would make fun of you. Like if you quit or he would make fun of you and have people laughing in there. And I really didn't like that being done to me. So I did the best that I could to always finish my reps and didn't leave any reps behind.
You left some.
In the early years.
Yeah, but
in the early years.
Because you left some out there, you know. You cut it short on me right quick. Come on now.
In the early years.
Okay, yeah.
Because, well,
you fast talk me on that one. Like, I didn't leave. Oh,
well,
okay, come on now.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you trained me.
know.
You trained me differently than you trained probably other people. You were pushing me harder.
How you got your name?
StingRay.
StingRay.
Yeah, StingRay.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. StingRay. But let me interject here a minute. They had a guy I was training, a brother and his sister, and he left to go to the the special forces. He went through some of that special force training, you know, and his sister was trying to tell him about, you know, how to take the aerobic steps and 1, 2, 3, you know, 3 push-ups.
Yes.
3 push-ups.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay, so she was telling him about it. She was telling him about it, you know. And when he left, he goes like, well, when I finish my training, he said, I'm gonna come back. Because he couldn't do it. You know, I said, okay, you know, you're gone. And no lie, after he did his training and stuff, he came back to the gym, special forces now. He goes all the way down. And I noticed when he got back to halfway, he got to go over the slide and down. I noticed it was one of those air going out of the balloon, you know. And he got all the way down to the last one, the flat one, where you do 3 on the last one. He did 2, and he could not. The whole gym came back there and tried to tell him, you know, like, get it. He couldn't get that last one. So that made me feel like I got his ass that time, especially for that.
Yeah, and you know what? Even though I wasn't there for that particular episode, I know what you said to him. You would, because the way you would count.
Oh, come on now.
The way you would count, you go 6, 5, 4, 3, and then when you see that he's getting ready to quit, and then he'd fall on his face.
Got to do him
I know how you did that.
Do him again. He didn't finish.
Now, okay, let me say this, since he were talking about the special forces. Now, when it comes to because I have some military men in here, when it comes to combat, that's you're in your guys' world, surviving and you know, all that other stuff. But there used to be military guys that used to come into his gym and they thought that he could do, when it comes to exercising, I know you guys do millions of push-ups and pull-ups for hours. Nobody can do what he does. Nobody can do what he does, and he would challenge anybody. I didn't see that particular episode of the Special Forces guy. I have seen sergeants and Marines, and I seen an Army Ranger in there one time. And oh my God, you would run these guys into the ground. And like I said, everything that he told them guys to do, he did it himself. And then he would do what they couldn't do. That was oh man, that was awesome. You would beat these guys to the ground.
He hate that, you know, especially I said, well, I tell you, let's do 25. He tried to get on the special team. We had an extreme team,
okay.
You know.
Now make sure when you're talking about the beginning days, make sure you talk about the good stuff too.
I'm gonna leave the other one out. You took care. We took care of that a while ago.
Oh, you're just gonna give them the bad part. Okay, all right.
And StingRay would get up and say, "Let's do 25." Oh man, he would look at you like, "Who you think you're talking to? My name is StingRay, and you give me that name." Okay. He'd get in here, push off 22, 23. And then he'd try to throw that old half one in there. Nah, but he got taken on to the top, you know. 24, he couldn't get that last one. And I say, well, get on up, I get that last one for you. And it looked like it just pissed him off. For some reason, he couldn't get that last one, but he'll push all 3 from just out of pure, I'm not going to be a loser type of thing, you know. So he made the team, but it was hard getting in there, you know. It took more training to get him on the extreme team than anybody, because he's hard-headed.
No, that don't sound, no, not me. That don't sound like me.
See, I quit.
I know you guys don't agree with that.
I'm going to plead the fifth.
He's hard-headed. Who pleaded the fifth?
Oh,
no, wait.
You too.
Yeah.
You agree with Ryan? With Rip?
Yeah, you hard-headed.
Okay, the guy that I named the show after, a guy who I love and almost cried about talking about, he agrees with Rip. Okay.
Yeah, well, hey, the truth should sit.
Now, what I remember about that extreme team was, like, most of the things we did, we would do 100 reps.
Yeah.
Not like heavy lifting 100 reps. We would do, like, when I say 100 reps, like, if we were only able to do like 70 or 75, we had to push ourselves to where we had to do 100. And you weren't a part of this elite club unless you finished like everything. And there was only 4 of us.
Yeah.
Out of everybody that came in there. It was me, you, Dog from Texas, Ron.
And Bob, Nate,
Dr. Typhoon, Nate.
Typhoon.
Yeah, veterinarian from Michigan State. He went to Michigan State.
Yeah.
They just lost 44-10.
Yeah, you didn't have to say that. You know,
No, I didn't have to throw that. Okay, I'm sorry. But that was an elite group, man.
Yeah, we had fun.
God rest his soul, my cousin Tino Marino. I mean, he almost made the team, but he just wanted to bench every day.
Every day.
He he wanted to bench every single day.
Forget about the rest of the body. All I want to do is bench. I go to the gym just to bench. You know, what's all this stuff in here for? All we need is the bench.
Now, do you remember 5 years ago when you and I were at Southwestern Academy on the hill and with the tire?
Yeah.
And the bands tumble?
Okay, I got this.
You got this one?
I got this one.
You're not going to leave anything out, are you? Oh, okay, all right. I'm sorry.
See, everybody not like you.
Okay, all right. You're going to tell it like it is.
I'm going to tell it like it is.
All right.
You know? But you know how when you're training, you have to pick this big tire up and, you know, flip it over.
You got to tell them how much that tire weighed.
You tell them. So you want to say how light and what load?
It was either 400 or 500 pounds. I know it was one of the two. 500, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. And he would flip, and he flipped it all the way down from one end of the football field to the other. That was when we were starting out. Then he got to where he could flip it all the way down. This is a 500-pound tire. One of those earth mover tires or whatever it is, you know. He flipped it, because you know I'm telling him, man, he, once again, from here to the door the first time, he said, I get this. He flips it on. Okay, but he got to the way he could flip that 500-pound tire from one end of the football field and back. Now,
when he says football field, he doesn't mean starting from the goal line and going to the other goal line. He made me start behind the end zone.
On the track.
On the track. So yeah, that's right. It was on the track.
Yeah.
I had to start on the track. So I had to flip that tire to the end zone, and then that's when he started counting the reps.
Yeah,
now,
I was enjoying the view.
Now I can prove. Now to prove that I flipped it all the way down from one end zone to the other, it's 62 flips to go from one end to the other. So if any of like a big offensive lineman flips it all the way down,
not counting the track.
Not counting the track. We're talking from the back of the end zone to the back of the other end zone. It is 62 reps. It takes 62 flips to go all the way down.
You were doing 64 because you had to start on the track.
Well, you always wanted me to make sure that I did more, because I think I did that flipping the tire maybe 3 or 4 times, different days. And you always wanted me, at the very least, get one more than I did the previous day.
Yeah.
And now the day I did the 62, I remember the time before that I only did 52.
Yeah.
So I was able to get 10 extra ones. Now the thing about that tire, to anybody who wants to try doing that, you have to make sure that the technique, because that is the easiest way to throw your back out if you try to lift that with your back. If you were to tell somebody that was going to try that, how would you explain to them how to flip that tire just for their own personal safety?
Squat. Sit down. Balance yourself. Squat. To where you're balanced. Get up under that tire, and what's going to happen, you're going to start with your legs and your lats and your forearm, but you got to put them together. You can't start leg, then back, and then no. You got to start all of it, and it's a motion. See, and if you keep that motion, because if you get over and you're leaning, it's not going to work. Because the weight is up under you now. You want to be up under the weight, see. So you want to stand wide enough. I always tell people shoulder length apart. That's your balance.
I remember you told me that. Yeah.
And push back like you're ready to sit in a chair. And as you're going down, your quads and your hamstrings going to balance you. That's where your balance is from. So you got the biggest muscles in the leg that's going to part that holds you. Now you're going to use your lats, which is the other big part of the body. Your lats, your delts, and your traps. And you're going to put all of those together, and you're going to put the legs together, and you'll flip that tire, or you'll push that weight, whatever it is. But if you got to get that muscle. What's that old saying is? The leg bone connected to the, what it's a song. It's like,
the hip bone?
The leg bone,
leg bone,
to the knee bone.
Yeah. Well, the muscle is the same way. So all you got to do is just reverse it, and go and do what you got to do.
Now, another thing we did during those times, 5 years ago at the Hill, was the kettlebell.
Yeah.
20. This was hard too. 20-pound kettlebell. You had to start at the bottom of the hill, and you had to hold it like this. You had to hold the belt like that right in front of you. And you had to look straight ahead, and I had to walk backwards in a straight line. Now, it's hard enough just like moving all over the place going backwards. He made me go in a straight line all the way back, because if I didn't, he wouldn't count it. And I'd have to do it all over again. That was also very hard. I had to do 10 of those. That was hard. The thing about Rip, when you're doing your legs, he believes, and he's right, that you should work your hamstrings just as much as you do your front. So a lot of things, like when you're doing your legs, you're running backwards, skipping backwards, because the hamstrings that's what supports the lower back.
That's the biggest muscle. Same way with your lats. A lot of people, when they go to the gym, what they do, they go and they say, show you. Now this is you can tell a person that don't know the biggest muscle. Now, this is just a little something I throw at you. You should go to some gym and say, we use the word Elroy. Elroy, throw him up. Elroy. Now, that's not the biggest muscle. He go show the bicep. That's not, no. The biggest muscle in the arm is the tricep. Now, you'll see a lot of them guys, you go say, Elroy, show us what you got. He'll put that tricep. That's the guy know the biggest muscle group. But we all do this. We'll go and throw that up. That's not the biggest. That tricep is, that's what the hamstring. All it is your arm and the leg. Look at your arm and your leg. Same thing. Toes, arm, leg. Same thing.
I have another question for you.
Bring it on, Ray.
Back in those days. Now, I remember when we were working out together, whether it was Extreme Team, Lear's Gym, no matter where it was. Normal people like me and other people would drink water and drink fluids during our workouts.
Yeah.
You didn't do that.
Nope.
You drank hot sauce.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I mean by hot sauce. I'm not talking about Red Rooster hot sauce or something you'd buy on the shelf at Kroger. This hot sauce that he used to drink during his workouts was so strong that when you walked in the gym, you knew that he was drinking it because your eyes would kind of water. Derek, it was kind of like the stuff my dad used to make. It was hot like that. What the hell were you drinking? What kind of hot sauce was that?
Well, I tell you.
I'm talking about, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Zeke. This hot sauce had warning labels on it. It had skull and crossbones that says if you're not over the age of 17, it warns you not to drink. I don't know how did you do that? What was it that you were drinking?
Hot sauce. You just told him. Hot sauce.
Yeah, but where did you get this hot sauce from? You can't buy these at like regular stores.
You go to the specialty stores.
Did you go it's like an Indian store? Where the hell did you get this stuff?
Oliver tea. Some of the specialty
Oliver
stores
tea,
that
okay.
have, things that ordinary stores wouldn't have, And see, this is the secret. See, now I learned this a long time ago, where when I was playing football, the coaches would give us sugar cubes. That's for energy. I already had it. Sugar cubes.
Sugar cubes?
Yeah, that was for before the games and stuff like this. Here, you would get 4 or 5 sugar cubes. Okay.
Is that the same reason they give them to racehorses?
I don't know, but I know it gives you energy quick. And then they graduated to honey. We had little honeys and stuff, and then I found out when I was about 6 years old, I saw my granddad eating pepper and onion with his food, but a little food, little pepper, little. So and the pepper looked so good because it was crunchy. He's crunching, and I walked up to him. I said, "Papa." I said, "Could I have a piece of that?" He said, "No." He said, "You don't want this." He said, "Because that would burn you." Well, being a kid, I didn't understand what I thought burn was if you touch something hot, you get burned. I didn't know. He said, "No, that'll burn. That's too hot for you." "Oh, no, Papa, I can eat it." So he said, "I tell you what I'm gonna do." He said, "I'm gonna give you a piece of this pepper. You better not spit it out, and you better not cry. I'm telling y'all right now, Ray. Boy, that was the hardest. And then, see, what I did, I started sweating. And then I started remembering right from that day on that pepper increases your metabolism. That was the secret. Hot sauce. Give me a little hot sauce, a little water, and they could get all those energy drinks and all that stuff they want, and I would tear their ass up.
That just prompted me to something else as you say that. You know how some people get flu shots? He doesn't believe in flu shots. He does it an entirely different way. Do not try this, okay? Do not try this. It'll make anybody scream. It does work because I did it one time, but I never did it again because the pain was too severe. Instead of getting a flu shot, he suggested, and I should have known better, because all your suggestions, even though they work, they're painful. He suggests to cut yourself, just a little paper cut, whether it's on the finger or whatever, a little cut. Cut yourself and pour garlic on it. That works better than a flu shot. Now, to his credit, he did tell me, he said, you're going to scream like you've never screamed before. I did do it at home. I did scream. It did work. I would never do that again. I wouldn't do that if I was trying to cure something that I had. There's no way I would endure that. I was screaming. I didn't just scream. I screamed for probably like 20 minutes.
Well, it wasn't now.
That pain was unbearable.
For the take the place of the flu shot, I was telling you that garlic would kill bacteria. It's a natural antibiotic. And I was telling you, if you do get a scratch or a little cut or something on you, and you go put that, what they call it, Neurosporin.
Neosporin.
Yeah, if you put some of that on it, what it has, it'll burn because it's killing the bacteria that's in it. But if you go and you take that garlic and you squeeze it and you put that garlic oil on there, it'll sting you because it's only killing the bad bugs. It's not killing the good ones. And that it will heal quicker than it would if you put that anything they got out there.
Yeah, but describe the pain. We know that all that stuff works.
It's not a pain.
A sting?
Why do you think you got the name StingRay?
Yeah, I mean, it worked. It worked.
Okay,
I
StingRay.
mean, there's nothing that you've ever taught me that it didn't work.
Yeah, I know.
But I would never do that again.
from
I'll just be sick all winter. I'll just let me be sick.
Yeah, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
So why not just take garlic pills?
Well, I like the oil. I like for it to be live. I don't want nobody to be done touch it and got all the good stuff out of it and say, here, take it. You still got enough in it for you. No, give me the garlic. She is my girl. We garlic olics.
Garlic olive.
Yeah,
Garlic olics.
Yeah, and you can experiment this yourself. Take your blood pressure,
Okay.
say Monday, and eat garlic. I tell people sometimes you can take a clove of garlic and you slice it about the size of your pinky. Take it like you would an aspirin with water. It's not on your breath. And you do that for about a week, and then take that blood pressure again. Just bring it down.
Really?
Really?
Is it painful?
Well, I'm gonna put it this way. No.
That's all I care about.
No, it's not painful.
Okay.
It's almost like garlic is almost saying they won't study it like they should because, the physicians, that's where they make the money. You think the doctors won't see all of us well? They ain't gonna make no money delivering babies.
You're right.
Okay, so when you, let me say how to do this, because you always thought you was a bad guy. Y'all laughing, but I'm too.
I am the nicest kid that you'll ever be.
Well,
around.
anyways, you see, like your medical doctors and stuff, what they do for the longest, fought marijuana.
Yep.
Yeah, like, wait a minute now, hold on. I just developed this pill 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, but that marijuana been here since when?
The beginning of time.
Yeah.
Since
Beginning of
when?
time. Beginning of time. It's always been here.
And a lot of people know that it's almost a wonder drug, so to speak. So they don't want it to. The garlic is the same way.
Doctors don't promote
They
natural
won't.
remedies.
They won't promote it. They won't promote it.
Now, I know you like to fish. You're a big fisherman. Your whole life you've been. Tell us a good fishing story. I know there's a lot of them, but what's one that comes to mind when you think
Well,
of
I
fishing?
nip it in the bud.
Like if you could say, man, I'd like to go back to like if there was like a certain spot down south or St. Louis or wherever. What's a good fishing story?
The fish took my rod. Took my rod, Ray.
I've never fished ever. You got to explain to me what that means.
Okay. Well,
Another fun
this
fact.
is
I've
when
never
you
been
don't-
fishing.
When,
Never
when
been
you don't
fishing.
listen.
Yes, I know.
Now,
Wow.
my
Derek, you ever see me fish? I've never been fishing. I've
my
never
buddy
been fishing.
had told me. He
Not
said,
that I wouldn't, but I just haven't. Go ahead. I'm listening.
lift the bell when you cast out. Just leave the bell down. Say fish come get it. You know it take the line off. You talking to a kingfish? You know that's the attitude I had. I'm fishing with 2 rods. Flip one of them out there, you know, and then I got the other one I'm kind of trolling with. And I was happened just to look over just to check on it, and I've been doggone. All was at the tip of the boat was the handle. The fish come took my whole rod. And believe me, if the guy that was with me wasn't with me, I never would have told nobody that. You know, the fish had took my rod. You know, and I do pretty good when I go fishing. I like competitive fishing. You know, a couple of my buddies that tell you, say, now you watching. Say, because if he turns his back, say, he's putting something in the game, you know. And the guys will tell me sometime we be fishing, he goes like, hey, we're going to be okay as long as you say facing me or side to side. Say, don't turn your back. 'Cause Al told me about you. Well, the thing of it is like, we go fishing, and everything about a waxworm. See, but what I did, I took my waxworms and I got some Easter egg dye, and I dyed them different colors. You know, I had red waxworms and blue waxworms and yellow, and I'll be tearing their asses up, and they don't understand why, you know. But see, this is what happened though. When I'm putting one on, I make sure they see me putting on one of the white ones, you know, the regular natural color. I make sure they see me doing that. And then I flip out, and on the other pole, I might put a red one on there, you know. And I flip that, and they say, well, we fishing with the same thing. How come I'm like, well, we not fishing with the same colors, you know.
Wow. Are you ever going to take me fishing? I want my first fishing.
I'm not putting on no bait for you, and I'm not taking fish off. Because you just said you never fished before.
I got to do all that by myself?
You're a grown
You're
ass man,
not
Ray.
going fishing, StingRay. You're not going fishing there. You know. No, if I have to bait the hook and then take the fish off, you're not fishing.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
You just hold
Someone
the
can
pole.
show me how to do that, and then if I know how to do that stuff, will you take me fishing
This summer? Yeah,
this summer?
this summer.
Okay.
But
Now,
hold on now. You pick the day, Wednesday.
We're getting specific now.
Well, we'll see, because I might not be training as many people as I do now.
it won't be a problem for me getting a certain day. Now, if I do go fishing with you, though, I don't want to go to Kersley Lake or somewhere around here. I want to drive somewhere.
Well, you're not going that far, because like I've been fishing out of Lake Fenton for 30 years, and I've never gone out there in 30 years and didn't catch fish. And I'm a fish eater, because you know
Lake
I don't
Fenton?
eat meat.
Lake Fenton?
You
Baby
know,
steps,
Lake
Ray.
Fenton,
Baby
you know.
steps.
They got everything in there. A lot of people don't believe it. I go to Lake Fenton and catch 14-inch yellow lake perch, 14-inch. Now listen to this now. I catch 5-pound largemouth, smallmouth, and I catch nice pike. They got some vicious pike in there. But now there's one young guy, one day was fishing in his yard there. So Lake Fenton got water in his 85, 90 feet, 65 feet. A lot of people don't know that. They said a long time ago, somebody said it was a cave down there, and they found an old 29 or something truck was in it, down at the bottom. But this one young guy, he had a little speech impediment. He won't go. He say he caught a big fish last week, a big muskie. Well, I figure he ain't catch no muskie, not out here. Long as I've been coming down here, I never caught no muskie. And I've been doggone 2 days after that. I went on this little point cross from where he was talking about, and I caught a baby tiger muskie. So now when I go, I'm going where he said he caught that big muskie, and I got some lures this big now. I'm going to get him.
Okay, this is going to show you how much I don't know about fishing. When I hear the word muskie, I think of people that don't put deodorant on their underarms.
That's musty.
Musty.
Yeah.
What? Oh, muskie with a K is what you said. Oh, that's a fish.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know that. Got that thought. Turn that thing off. I have one more question for you. How do you hope to be remembered?
Like you remember me. Whatever your remembrance are, that's what you remember me. You can't answer no better than that. See, because if I tell you,
how do you want because you've touched a lot of lives, like thousands of lives down there and up here.
Pass it along.
How do you hope to be remembered?
By passing it along. Send it on. If it did you some good, then you do it to somebody else some good.
Okay, this is what I'll always think of when I think of you. There's been a few times over the years, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a personal trainer, but I have helped some people get in shape or whatever, some people that needed it, people that don't have a lot of experience of, exercising and being in the gym. And I have taught them everything that you taught me. And I've actually had a few ladies that told me that, I remember years ago when you told me this and this, and it's everything that you taught, because I basically apply everything that you showed me when I try to help other people.
That's passing it along.
And that's just, I'm glad that I'm able to do stuff like that. I went from a kid that wanted to get a membership at Lear's Gym that was right in my neighborhood there. I met you there in November of 1993. This was after we lost that football game to Westland John Glenn. And, 26 years later, here we are. I could go on for hours talking about how I'm going to remember you. But
pass it on.
I've never met anybody like you ever. You're probably the one person where I can say you don't remind me of anybody, and nobody reminds me of you. You're probably the only person that I can say that about. You do not remind me of anybody that I know, anybody I've seen on TV. You're as original as they come. And, on behalf of the people that you've trained and people that have won competitions and people that have their own gyms now that have learned from you. I've had a couple guys I used to work with, guys like Mayo and all them. You just have a way of getting to people. Anybody who can get to someone like me who is, a little hard-headed, a little hard-headed.
He's admitting it.
But you instilled a lot of discipline in me that I needed. My dad instilled discipline in me too, but I needed more. And I'm always gonna remember that about you. And I'm glad that you're feeling better after what you've been through this summer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wish that I would have known about that. I would love to have come see you. I would have busted my way through security. They're not keeping me out of there. I ain't that old now.
I didn't say nothing about age.
No, but Rip, man, listen, man. To say that I'm happy that you came here today is it's a gross understatement. I am so glad that I'm here kicking it with you and talking old stories.
Okay, now listen to this. I use common sense. I'm not above. I'm not beneath. The higher you build your barrier, the faster I'm going to climb. And you talked about me, but you didn't tell nobody how you used to knock that ball out of the park, did you?
Oh, they know.
Huh?
They know how a ball player I
Well,
was.
the people that's gonna be watching don't know. Well, that's the good. Leave it on. Leave it on. Leave it on.
I'll have a ball player on here someday, preferably from my younger years when I was actually good, because my back operation kind of messed me up. But well, I mean, that's another show. I know what I was. Ask Derek about his leg. I almost killed him one time. Before we go, real quick, I know we're running out of time. Real quick. Derek, the guy that I named D Sweet, right there. D Sweet is right there. The guy that I named the show after. 1998. I'm getting ready for a big tournament in Cadillac this weekend. 28, 29 teams there. It's an invitation tournament. I said, Derek, man, I didn't hit yesterday. Let's go up to Potter School, man. I got to just throw me a few balls. He's only in 1998. What were you, 17, 18? About 17 years old at the time. He said, I ain't pitching to you, man. I don't know how to pitch. Just throw them. I need to go through the motions. The first ball that I hit, that's probably the hardest that I've ever hit a ball. And I hit him right in his...
No. You hit next to my head, the first one. My head.
The first one went by his ear, like a Scud missile. But then I hit him in his leg, and it sounded like a bullwhip, but louder. And how long...
Well, first off, when you always hit me in the head, I said, I'm done. I'm going home. You're not hitting anymore. And he said, dude, I'm not going to hit you, I promise. I said, the very next pitch.
Oh.
Did he
Inside right here.
I hit him. I belted him hard. I didn't mean to.
Bruised for a month.
Yes. I mean, green and... he had jeans on, and you could see the lump through his jeans that he was wearing, like during the week. I peppered him hard. I had a good tournament, though, that weekend. I hit the ball well I did have a good tournament. That's the important thing. Okay, but...
I'll leave it alone.
Okay, any parting shots, Rip, before we wrap this up?
I'd like to do a little hand pain if you don't mind.
Sure. Are you cooking us something?
Yeah.
What is a hand pan?
It's his drum.
I just like to do a little bit before I go.
A drum, is this an instrument
I
you
got it in
invented?
the truck. Huh? I'll go get it right quick. I'll take me probably 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This is Greg Fenner. This is the owner of the barbershop. This is the guy that I congratulated on getting a seat in the council in the city of Burton. And Greg has been in Flint, Burton, all his life, basically. And Greg, is there anything that you want to say to maybe some of the people that voted for you real quick while Rip is getting his, what's that called, Rip? Frying pan. Hand pan.
I thought it was a walk, but I don't know.
Okay.
A lot of people say barbecue grill. Some people call it
Okay.
flying saucer.
It's actually pretty cool when he actually gets it.
Yeah, no, Ray, the election was amazing. First time I've ever, endeavored into politics, and they came out and supported me. I can't. I'm overwhelmed by the people that came out and supported me, and it's just when you feel passionate about something and you always just stood on the sidelines and watched and said something and talked to people. It was time to get in and do it, and the people generously came out and voted for me. I mean, I did really well. I was happy, for a first-time candidate, not knowing what I was doing. I didn't have a team. I didn't have a campaign manager. That was me.
Okay.
My wife helped a lot. Of course, she was supportive and
Good.
and behind me too. So
Okay.
yes, very very grateful for
Well,
that.
I will say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart when I say this. You've taken care of me for like the last 20, 22 years, and here you're kind enough to let us, use your, place. If you ever need me for anything, and this is voluntary, this is from a voluntary basis, anything to help or this and that, I'll be there for you. Voluntarily. All volunteer.
I know you would, Ray. I know
Okay?
you would, for sure.
I'll be
Absolutely.
there for
So, but I got a little glimpse of him on YouTube doing this. This is amazing. So you'll be
you. Okay.
uh,
Well, Rip he's talented.
pleasantly surprised.
Okay, Greg.
And
Well,
I'm gonna
thanks
turn the
for,
mic back over to him so that he can be the star of the show like he is.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh no.
That's the star right there.
Okay. Should he come over here? Okay. Is that a UFO?
You can call it that.
Hold the mic for him. Or?
Is that a mushroom? What is that?
Bring it right over here, Rip. Right in between the chairs.
This is actually pretty cool. I caught a little glimpse earlier. Wow. That is nice. You know what, man? I wish that they had like something like that, because that's so relaxing. It could put me to sleep. You know what I mean? That's very, very relaxing. And okay, Rip. One more thing before Dan turns the camera off.
What?
You have to come up here. Don't put your coat on just yet. Just come up here real quick. In front of the camera. Give us the old. Yeah, dude. Come here, man. Oh, man. Oh, shit. Okay, as we wrap up the show here, we have a YouTube channel. Everybody knows about D Sweet Nation. Hit the like button and subscribe. Facebook, hit the like button and hit us up on there. I hope you enjoyed the show. I had a lot of fun. And it's starting to become common where I tell everybody there's just not enough time, but it is what it is. Derek and I sacrificed free tickets to the Michigan and Michigan State game that my sister Angela had tickets to. So I appreciate the kind gesture on my sister's part. But I think Derek and I made the right decision on putting our obligations first. So thank you for the support. And we will see you next week where we will have Mike Fordham, who played at the University of Illinois, and a possible second guest. Is that right, Dan? For the 23rd?
No, if you're referring to Steve, no.
Okay. Scratch the second guest. Mike Fordham will be here next week. He's a Flint guy, somebody I went to high school with. He runs the new Flint Cultural Center over there on 475 and Robert T. Longway. And he played at the University of Illinois. So he will be here next week. So hope everybody has a good weekend. I hope you enjoyed the game. And we will talk to you next week.